Okay. All right. Hi, guys. So Monday afternoon, February 22nd, we are in the final week of Team Cup. So if you guys have not hit Success Club yet, make sure that you are pushing for it. If your team is pushing for a Tier 2 prize, Success Club 5 isn't going to cut it. You need to have at least 7 points to qualify for the Tier 2 prize, even if your team has over 50. So keep that in the back of your head. Couple things for those of you who have not been around for a February before. Next week will by far be the biggest week of volume that you've ever seen. February 28th is the biggest volume day of the year because every home direct order from the 29th, 30th, and 31st of the entire year before that gets pushed to the 28th. Becomes the biggest volume day of the year. Throw in the 22-minute hardcore launch during the same week. I hope you guys are ready. It's an exciting week. Everybody usually will have their biggest paycheck, biggest volume, help as many people as you can. This is not a week that you want to slack on inviting. We will be doing a live Power Hour team-wide probably Thursday of this week. So mark your calendars. We'll get that up in the team page. Also talk to your sponsor, Diamond, Star Diamond Upline, and see if they are doing one as well. Now is the time to plug in, keep inviting. Whatever your goal was for you to invite this week, invite double. Whether it's to a challenge group, to the business opportunity, just talk to twice as many people this week. Watch what's going to happen. Let's finish out strong and really sort of kickstart into this launch. Annie is going to lead our call today. The Diamond and Star Diamond groups for the regions with corporate are doing cluster masterminds, and everybody's sort of alternating doing a topic. So I personally am super happy that Annie's going to talk about this because it's something that I definitely struggle with, challenge groups. So Annie is sort of the kind of queen of getting her coaches engaged with the challenge group. So for those of you who don't know Annie, if you're not in our downline, she signed up in July of 2013, and she was a discount coach for a few months before she worked the business and eventually decided to plug in. So fast forward, she is a Success Club legend. She's a 1-star diamond, and she has over 10 personally sponsored emeralds in her downline. So she definitely is the great one to talk to about getting your new coaches engaged and really, really kickstarting right away. So she's going to talk about getting your new coaches engaged with challenge groups. So I'm going to turn it right to her, and I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to just let you take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot. So part of the reason that I wanted to present this, especially in our mastermind, is that a lot of coaches in there said that what they were really struggling with was getting their new coaches. Even if people came in and said that they wanted to build a business, they were having trouble getting them going and moving and actually building a business. So if you know, even if you're not a diamond coach yet and you feel like you're struggling with this, it keeps going, you know, it's not something that you just get over right away. A lot of coaches struggle with that throughout, you know, throughout their business, even when they do get to the higher diamond ranks. So that was part of why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like it's something that I've been pretty successful with. And, you know, I definitely felt like I could give people some insight and some tips on what they can do to get coaches engaged right off the bat. So like Brianne said, you know, I met Brianne on a mom's group on Facebook, and she was running a clean eating group, and that's how I got involved with her. And it's funny because at the beginning I was like, yeah, I'm just a discount coach. Well, I was a discount coach running a free clean eating group because that's what I needed for my own personal accountability. So hold on, Belle, I'm doing a call, sweetie. I'll do it in a minute. So pretty much right away, even though I wasn't trying to build a business, I wasn't really trying to work or, you know, build customers who were ordering stuff, I had a free group going. And because Brienne had made me register as a customer with her when I joined her group, that's what I did for all my customers. I was like, well, I guess that's what you do. I just duplicated what she had me do. So it was an 8-week clean eating group, really intense. And so towards the end of that group, lo and behold, I had a few people just out of the blue. They didn't say anything to me. They ordered T25. So these are customers that I had luckily had sign up as free customers in my group. And I was like, I am not working. I kept telling Brienne, I don't want to work. I don't want to go into training. I'm not going to work as a coach. But here I had people start to order products just because they saw that I was having such good success with T25. And that was probably in the last 2 weeks of that group that I was running. And 2 weeks later, Brienne said again, she invited me to start training. And I thought, well, you know what? I can kind of see how this is all working. Like the light bulb started to go off. And I was like, you know what? If all I have to do is run these groups and people will order stuff, they'll get excited about the products because of what I'm doing, I think I can do this. So that's basically how I got started. So you can see how, you know, my background and my success with the challenge groups right off the bat, even when I was like, I am not a working coach, I am not doing this as a business. It really led me into, you know, into how to get people started. And like Brienne said, you know, I have a lot of emeralds in my downline, and I was thinking about it earlier, and I only have 2 lifetime emeralds. Of all my current emeralds and emeralds who have quit, I only have 2 emeralds in my entire downline, past and present, who do not run or did not run regular challenge groups. So, you know, this is something that I've been very successful with getting people to do. And the people who do it, obviously, because they are working the business, they are getting at least to the emerald rank a lot of the time. So basically, to kind of get into the meat of the call, now that you know my history with it and my success with it. So when I sign up a new coach, basically my goal is to get new coaches engaged with their business as soon as possible, because I know that the faster they engage, the more likely they are to stick around. The faster they start to see success, the more likely they are to really want to run with this. And my other big goal is to get them running groups on their own without me directing them as soon as possible too. Because, you know, as you start to build a larger downline, you're not going to be able to micromanage everybody. You're not going to be able to go to every single coach that you sponsor and say, okay, when are you running your next group? You need to get them doing that on their own. So that is one of my other goals. I always allow coaches to help out with groups if and when they need to. So if somebody does not feel comfortable running a group on their own yet, I always let them stick with me as long as they need, to a certain extent. You know, when I feel like they're ready, I will try to get them off on their own. But, you know, likewise too, if I know that somebody is, you know, has crazy stuff going on in their life, or just, you know, for whatever reason needs that extra support and needs to do a challenge group with me, I'll let them. So like right now, Tova is about to have a baby in like 2 weeks is her due date. So, you know, if she needs to run be in a challenge group with me right now, I'm going to be like, that's cool. I understand you have a lot going on. So, you know, I basically will nurture people, but then also try to kind of nudge them out of the nest as well. You know, one other thing that I definitely do, you know, I know that if they start doing things with their own ideas. So if they start running groups that they're really excited about, engaged about, and they enjoy, that they're going to be a lot more engaged with their own customers. So that's one of the other reasons, not just that I can't support that large of a group of people, but I know that they're going to be more excited about a group if they're the ones coming up with the topics and running it how they want to be. And in turn, because of attraction marketing, their customers are going to be a lot more engaged too, because the type of people that they're attracting might not like the kind of groups that I'm running, but they're going to like the kind of groups that my coaches are running. One other thing that I do is that I encourage people to find a challenge group partner. So kind of like you would have a success partner, where you might have weekly calls. I encourage my coaches to find somebody that they mesh with really well, that their skills complement each other, and it can be one or two or maybe even three people. You don't want to start to get too many coaches together, but just somebody that they can work with, so you're never running a challenge group on their own. And I'm going to get a little bit more in depth in that in a little bit. But basically, so when I sign up a coach, and it goes either way, whether they're a discount coach or a working coach. Basically, when I have my GSR call with them, because I do a getting started right call, even with discount coaches, because if they're a discount coach, I'm talking about their fitness goals. If they want to build a business, then I'm talking to them, about their business goals, obviously. But so on the GSR, no matter whether they want just the discount or whether they want to work, I'm going to bring up a free group with them. And if they're a discount coach, I'm more going to phrase it that, because I want them to be really successful with their fitness goals, let's get a group together. They can invite their friends if they want to, and that group is going to help hold them accountable to what their own personal goals are. If they're a coach who wants to build, obviously this is the first stepping stone to show them, what it's like to invite, and that kind of thing. So I let this new coach on the GSR, we talk about what topics they want, what they want to run the group about. And again, this is so that the coach can be really excited and engaged with whatever topic it is. If they need some ideas, I'll definitely throw them out there. But, for the most part, I let them come up with an idea on what topic to run the group on. So again, if they're a discount coach, I definitely still encourage them to invite their friends and family. And I say, the more people you have in this group, the more excited you're going to be, the more accountable you're going to be. And I found that when I have discount coaches do this, a lot of the time it kind of clicks with them that this whole inviting thing doesn't have to be that scary. All they're doing is getting friends and family to come join them. So, for those of you who really struggle with converting discount coaches into working coaches, this is a really good tactic to take, because it's going to show them that it's not as daunting and as overwhelming, and it's really just not that big of a deal to invite people. So let me see. Sorry, I got some arrows going on in my notes here. So the next step basically that I take, I will sit down and I will write out. So I'm going to do this first group with them. I'm not going to just throw them out there and be like, sorry guys, you're on your own. I'm going to do it with them. And so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and write a few different posts to use on social media, emails that I would send to customers, create an event on Facebook, and type up some little Facebook messages that I would send people to invite. And I'm going to share that with this coach. So I'm basically going to show them that if I was going to be running this group, which I am, this is how I'm going to be inviting people. I'm going to do these posts on these days on social media. I am going to make this event on social media and invite people to it. I'm going to send out an email to my email list on this day. I'm going to be using this message to send to people to invite them to it as well. Any graphics that I create, basically anything to advertise the group and to invite people, I give it to that coach and I say, you know, if you want to direct copy it, go to town. If you want to tweak it so it's in your own words, that is awesome. If you want to just make your own thing and give that a shot too, that's great. Basically, again, I'm showing them how I would do the inviting process so that they can learn that and they can start duplicating it on their own. I also provide all of the content for the group, but I have them share in with the posting. If they're really a go-getter and they want to do the content, that's fine. But I often find that that's where people get really hung up, especially on their first challenge group. They get very nervous about what it is that they are going to post to the group, what it is that they're going to say to these people. So I found that for me, providing this content to them of what the daily posts are going to be helps them a lot. It kind of takes that nervousness away. I also have them start to supplement the content though. So like if we're doing, like right now I'm doing an abs group with a couple of my new coaches. And so I was like, these are the exercises that we are going to do, but then I'm going to have them supplement some of that. So have them, you know, share some recipes, share some motivational quotes, share some other content they're going to find on their own so that they can again start to see, you know, this is the kind of stuff that's going to get really, you know, really good attention, get people really involved, you know, what questions they want to ask. You know, again, in my abs group right now, we have rest days, and one of the coaches was like, well, what if on the rest day for the people who want something to do, we give them like a little mini challenge? And I'm like, that's a great idea. So you'll see that people will start to, you know, to run with that idea. If you give them a little bit, you don't want to restrict them so much that they feel like this is the guideline that I have to stick with. You want them to feel like they can take the content and make it their own and kind of do their own thing with it and have fun with it. Again, you want them to encourage them to take that content and put it into their own words. Again, with the whole attraction marketing thing, you are going to, you know, their customers are going to like what they're doing. They've been attracted to that coach for a reason. So you want them to be sharing their story, be sharing what really gets them, you know, gets them excited and what they think, you know, their customers would enjoy as well. Not just controlling it with what's worked for you and what you have done in the past. So towards the end of the free group, I don't just do like a week-long one with people to begin with. If they want to do like a 7-day clean eating, I will let them do that, but I try to get them to do something that's, you know, probably like 2 to 3 weeks, just so they can really get the rhythm and see what, you know, what goes into it and keeping up with it daily. And towards the end of this free group, I'm going to ask them to join me on my next, what we call paid groups, but basically like a more traditional challenge group where you're going to be following a program, people are going to be drinking Shakeology and that kind of stuff. So, you know, if I think that they are ready to do a paid challenge group on their own or pair them up with somebody, I will do that. If they're really doing great and working very independently on the free group, I'll do that. If I feel like they might be a little bit hesitant or want to see how a challenge group is run, I will have them do that next group with me. And again, I'm going to give them examples here of how I am going to invite for this challenge group. You know, again, part of the reason I start with a free group is that I find that people get nervous at the beginning about asking people for the sale. You know, a lot of coaches are hesitant to ask to somebody to basically to order something, to pay for something. So we do a free one, and then we move into one where they're actually having to ask people for the, you know, for the order, and get them comfortable with that. Also, about 3 weeks after their first free group, I asked them what their next free group is going to be. So here I'm setting up the expectation that it's not just that they're going to run this one free group and that's going to be it forever. You know, I'm showing them that they, you know, with inviting them to do the paid group with me and then asking them what their next free group is and when it's starting, I'm setting up the expectation that they need to be running these challenge groups on a regular basis. I also ask them if they want help on this next free group or if they feel like that they can do it on their own. I basically, again, I'm showing them that they should be doing one of these a month minimum, because at least for me, I've had really good luck building up a broad customer base running free groups. I have everybody sign up as a free customer, and it's really helped build my customer base, and I've had you know, my coaches have been very successful doing the same thing. I also, at this point, if I feel like it's something that they can do on their own, if they haven't found somebody on the team who they work really well with, in terms of running a challenge group, I'm gonna at this point see if I can kind of pair some people up, see if we have another new coach who's coming, who has recently come in, who they would work well together with, or if there's somebody who's maybe been around for a while and is re-engaging, or just somebody who hasn't found somebody that they click with. So at this point, I'm really going to try to get them paired up with somebody that they can continue to run these groups with on their own. Kind of pair them off and, you know, send them off to do their own thing. One other thing that I have been doing to get people, you know, get people really involved and excited about running groups is that every month or so in my team page, I try to ask what kind, you know, let's brainstorm for some group ideas. Like what would be a really good, you know, really good topic for this time of year? Like coming up on the holidays, I was like, okay, let's go. And people were coming up with so many great ideas, like, oh, like holiday desserts that are pretty healthy, and like we had crock-pot groups. We had like this huge list of ideas of groups to run. So not only, you know, this is going to give those new coaches who have just joined my team, this is going to give them some great ideas. It's going to show them just how many different things that they can, you know, they can run groups on, that it doesn't have to even be restricted to, you know, to just like fitness and nutrition. You know, we had a gratitude group run where everybody would basically write down every single day what they were grateful for. And that group, they wanted to keep going. We did a 60-day group where for 60 days, every single person in the group got in and said, you know, what they were grateful for that day. We've also had coaches do, like leading into the holidays, do like savings groups, like save up for Christmas gifts. And this is also a great opportunity to find people who might be good prospective coaches, because they, you know, they're trying to budget and they really could use a little bit extra income. So it's going to show these brand new coaches that it doesn't just have to be like a recipe group, or it doesn't just have to be like, you know, some kind of exercise group, that you can really broaden your ideas and be creative with it. And it's also, so this post is also going to let them see too who might work well with them in terms of these groups. So if they see like, oh, that's a great idea that other coach had, she's going to do a group on like, you know, crock pot recipes, like that sounds like a lot of fun. It's going to allow the coaches to find people to pair up with too to run the groups. The one thing too that I want to point out, so that's basically, you know, kind of how I run it and introduce coaches to it, and, you know, keep the momentum going in my team page with it. The one thing that I found that's a big key point this is a very duplicatable system. So when I bring coaches in and I put them through this, this is how I run things. I found that they take that expectation of, okay, this is how you run things, and they do that with their new coaches. So, this is what I did with Tova. Tova, who is a 1-star diamond as well. She's my personally sponsored. She came in, she loved doing 3 groups. And then she was like, okay, I better start doing some paid challenge groups too, because I want to, earn some income with this. She brought in Jen Dacre, who she went diamond very quickly. And she is amazing with the challenge groups. So it's a system that duplicates itself. And now Jen has a coach, Stephanie, who is doing the same thing. She, within a couple of months, she's off doing her own challenge groups completely on her own and teaching her coaches how to do that as well. So it definitely is a system that I found, at least for me, it gets passed down through the generations of coaches that I'm bringing in. It's not something that I have to micromanage as the star diamond coach, that I'm micromanaging, like when everybody's doing their challenge group. Coaches are doing it on their own, and it's a great system to use so that you don't have to be there, managing every single challenge group that is getting run on your team. Coaches learn how to do it, and then they branch off on their own, and they go do it. And we've been very successful with it. So that was what I had for today. I don't know if anybody has any questions on anything.
So I do. So
okay.
when you send them, sorry, I have no voice.
That's all right.
Send them, the email in the beginning after they are enrolled as a coach. I'm assuming you do that, right?
Yeah, I do send them an email series. Yeah.
Okay. So what exactly do you include on there? Because I use Brianne's right now. I just kind of reworded things.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it's actually the same thing.
It is?
Okay.
Very similar. We had one, and Annie kind of took what I was using and put her own spin on it, and was kind enough to say to me about 2 months ago that she changed some things. This was what was working for her. Did I want to kind of add in any changes that she had made to adapt to kind of change up ours? And that's why they were offline for a couple of weeks. So I kind of took some ideas that she had and followed that sort of format, because feedback that I got was those last few were a little too overwhelming for discount coaches. So we sort of changed them up. Hers were definitely geared towards everybody, whereas mine were more towards working coaches. And she was having a lot of success with hers. And I'm the first person to say, if somebody else is having success, show me what you're doing, and let's all sort of work together. So she was kind enough to share that. So what she has is pretty similar to what you guys may be using when you enter in their names. It's pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah. The one note on that, the really important email I feel like in that email series for me is getting coaches to set up a getting started right call, whether they're discounted or not, because then that, once we get that call set up and I can actually get them on the phone or on Zoom. I prefer to do mine on Zoom now, just so we can see each other and interact. But that's where I'm going to kind of encourage them or require them to do a group, again, whether they're discount or not, and get them into that challenge group. Especially, I've had some people sign up who have never been through one of my groups before. They want to work the business, but they don't, so they haven't really experienced it firsthand. And that's another important point, that they really need to know what it's like to go through a group before they can run one, obviously. So, on that call is where I'm going to get all of that established and figure out what group it is, when it's starting. We're going to get everything, set down, and expectations set in terms of challenge groups. And then that way, so that's why I feel like getting that call set up, giving them that expectation that whether they're discount or not, they need to be getting started right call set up with me. And I'm also going to track them down as well. If I don't hear from them, I'm gonna go to them too. But in the emails, I think that's an important point.
Okay. Helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, even if they disregard all the rest of what I talk about in all the emails, if I can get a call set up with them, I can at least go over all of that other stuff too, that like where they can find training and that kind of stuff. Where our Facebook page is. I can do all of that if I can just connect with them for that getting started right call.
Okay.
Anybody else? No? I have to go back and listen to this because that was good information. And like I said, that's something that I struggle with, is getting the new coaches into groups right away. And it's something that I know you've had a lot of success with. So I'm glad that you shared, because I think the newer coaches will really be able to benefit it. And even some of the newer diamonds that are just sort of starting to reach out, because I know, like you would say, you passed it to Tova and she passed it to Jen, and now Jen's coach Stephanie is not very far from diamond.
Yeah, she's like a couple of coaches.
They're signing people up left and right, and they're staying.
Yeah,
which I think is the big thing, is they're not just signing people up, but these people are staying and hanging around. From a sign up perspective, when Annie started, she's on my left leg. So her power leg was her left leg, and we taught her to stack her inside leg. And she blew through all of her carryover volume and then some. And now her inside leg is 3 times as strong as your left one now. So she's got a lot of builders out there. So you just got to keep going and look at what happened that's really just the last 6-8 months or so that really took off.
Yeah.
So when you find something that works, just stick with it. And like she said, it's simple.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Behind it.
Yep. One other really good example is one of my newer coaches, Tia. Again, she was like, yeah, I'm just going to do the discount and kind of watch for a little bit. We started a free group on February 8th, and within a week and a half, she had enrolled 3 coaches. She had hit Success Club. So she, took that and just ran with it.
And her coach just signed up a coach.
And So, she apparently has a few more in the wings too. So we've had a lot of success. And I think that, like what Brienne's saying, that she, challenge groups aren't her strong point. For me, that was the fun of it. So if you're like Brienne, and even if you're like, I just don't like, challenge groups aren't really like my thing or my strong point, it's still a good idea to do it with your coaches, because that might be like, you might find somebody like me where I was like, this is what I love.
Mm-hmm.
Like after first eating group I did with Brienne, I didn't need her to like walk me through how to do a challenge group anymore. I took it and ran. So you might find that you have a coach where you can get them, just show them the principle one time, and they're going to take off with that. And show them that they can be as creative as they want with them, and really just have fun with them.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to go back and listen to this because I took some notes, but I'm going to listen to it again and take more. Do you guys have any other questions for Annie before we go? Hang on. I got to unmute you. Hold on.
Stop laughing. Okay.
Amanda's going to fall off her chair.
Because I don't know if you see my face. I feel like I'm sinking in quicksand because I so don't get this whole concept of the challenge groups. at all. So, and I understand that that's what you get. So is that where all your business and your coaches is coming from?
Probably 90% of it. Yeah.
Wow. So as you're talking, I'm thinking about all my coaches, and I'm thinking about when I signed them up. And if I ever said that to, like you said, give it to your discount coaches, they would have just jumped off a ledge. I guess it really depends. I guess the kind that your target market. I can't seem to fit this concept in with the coaches in my downline. I myself have trouble with it. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, is it me that's giving that off? And that's why I can't even project it in a positive way, because I'm not secure about it. I did a few and there were crickets there, and I was like, fuck this, I'm doing it my way. And what I'm doing is working. And I know it's not going to work when my team gets bigger. And like, I have another coach I'm signing on this week. This is what she should be doing. And I'm scared because I don't know what to do. She was actually a lead that came to me. She was a home direct customer, and out of nowhere calls me and says, I want to be a coach and I want to work. So all week I'm trying to think, how am I going to present this to her when I'm not even sure of it?
Right.
So I guess, so do you have any of your coaches that are not doing the challenge groups and are succeeding, doing something else? Or are they just mimicking what you're doing?
I have a couple who they're kind of just getting started right now, who are using different approaches. So kind of yet to be seen. And if somebody comes to me, like I have one guy who his thing is going to the gym. He uses Beachbody On Demand and Beachbody Performance at the gym. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be really interesting to see how well he can, he has a bunch of people already who are asking him what he's doing, and, he's showing them like, okay, you can use the Beachbody On Demand, and that kind of thing. So, it's not that I'm closed off or say that that's the only way to build a business. And I see, sweetie, that's beautiful. And I'm very supportive of people who want to try something different, and give it a go for sure. But I know for me, this is what's worked really well. And I think it's interesting because I know you and my mom are similar in age and social media aptitude and all of that. She was terrified to do challenge groups, like did not want to do it, was like, I will have like one or two people jump into yours, but I do not want to do it. I don't want to do it on my own. Not going to happen. She had a few people who were interested in 21 Day Fix over the summer, and I got her to invite with the intention of doing a challenge group for them. And she got a ton of people. It was a super active group. And since then, she doesn't run them all the time, but every couple of months, she does a challenge group, and sometimes it's free. Like she started one at the beginning of January that's basically, last year she had set a workout goal for the year. So she had said she wanted to work out 300 days, and she started a free group of ladies, most of whom are all your guys' age, and they all got in the group. They said what their yearly goals were. Some of them set workout targets and stuff like that. But that group is very, very active. So I think that she, at first she was really scared of it, and I think she had run one maybe that was like complete crickets, but it just took she found the right group of ladies online who wanted to do the 21 Day Fix. And that kind of boosted her confidence in running them. And now she's excited about getting people engaged and is doing really well with that. Yeah, so, I wouldn't be terrified. I mean, and that's another thing to mention too, even though like I run a lot of challenge groups. I have run a lot of challenge groups and some of them just suck. Some of them are total fails. You don't have anybody talking no matter what you do and what you say. That group of people just is not interactive. And I don't know what it is. And for those, I'm still going to put in the effort. I'm still going to touch base with the people. I'm still going to post every day. But I'm not going to put in a lot of extra effort. If I get 3 weeks in and I see that a group is just kind of quiet, I'm not going to put a lot of attention into that. I'm going to move on to my next one. Okay, hold on, sweetie. So, it's not to say that doing this every single group, you're going to have like a ton of engagement and people going crazy and all of that. Like you are going to have some that are going to be total misses, and it just is what it is. You just kind of have to move on to the next one. I mean, I've also played around a lot with templates of, things that work, things that don't work. And I'll run one template, use the same kind of group and use the exact same posts, and it'll be fantastic with people chiming in and going crazy. And then I'll run the same thing the next month and it's like nothing. So, I think a lot of it is just how, the people you have in there, how engaged they are that month, how, into their own workouts and fitness and health they are. Sometimes if you get 2 people in the group, 2 or 3 people that really interact really well with each other and you can encourage that interaction, I definitely get them going, because if you have those challengers or even in a free group, those people who are really involved and talking a lot, if you can encourage that, it brings more people out and talking. So, I mean, that's a situation too where you can ask people for help and say like, hey, every time you post, you get a lot of people, interacting with that. Do you mind like going in there and posting, how your workout was today? But yeah, I mean, don't feel like because you have a group that's kind of fizzled that you did anything wrong, and not to try again, because it happens.
Okay, thanks, Annie.
You're welcome.
So, all right, guys. This was great. We'll have this recording up later. Thanks, Annie, for sharing all of this.
You're welcome.
Everybody watches the replay. Tag your coaches. And for those of you who struggle with recruiting, listen to Janelle Summers' call from this morning. Have a notebook ready. I take like pages of notes from her whenever she's on the call. She's got fantastic tips, really concrete stuff. So definitely something to listen to on the replay. And that's it, guys. Make it a great week. See ya.
Thanks. See ya.